By now, most people in the raid community already knows about this fusion that's going on, and a lot of people are trying to decide if they should do it or not, right? But there is also a lot of talk about this new epic right here. Most people are trying to contemplate, hey, is she worth keeping or should I sacrifice her to actually be able to fuse brackets? So the purpose of this video is to showcase my opinions and her, just so you guys have a general idea if if she's worthy or not, and hopefully at the end of the video you got some insight and then you can formulate your own opinion if you should keep her, fuse brackets, or just skip this whole event in general. So yeah, let's get right into the video. Hello everybody, Loki Magics, another day, another video, and I hope you guys been doing good out there. I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend, and let's get right into this video. But before I do, I just want to throw my opinion about this fusion real quick. Now, I know a lot of people don't like this fusion, a lot of people saying this is ridiculous, but honestly, the way I look at it, and this is just my opinion, everybody could look at it how they want to, but I feel like every fusion that comes out, you really don't need to participate in it. And honestly, this guy right here, he is cool. I think he is a nice looking champion, but his kit is very niche, right? So maybe you don't really need him, and this might not be the champion you need in your team composition right now. So if you don't need him, then what's wrong with just skipping him, right? But if he's something you need and you must have, then you have that option available. That's just how I feel about these fusions. Like, you don't have to do every single one of them, and I know it's very hard to just sit on the sideline sometimes, and it can be frustrating, but sometimes you just can't get I wish I could do everything myself. I do spend a lot of money on this game. Even I can't do everything sometimes. So that's just my 2 cents. So yeah, let's talk about the epic void champion in question. Alright, so here goes the lady in question. Now, this champion is very unique, so bear with me as I explain her kit and her situation and how I feel about her. So her A1 is pretty standard, attacks one enemy, damage is proportional to this champion's current HP. So pretty much the more damage she takes, the more damage she'll dish out, right? Okay, pretty simple, nothing complicated. But when you look at her A2, attacks all enemy, has a 80% chance of placing block, buffs, debuffs for 3 turns, and this could be bumped up to 100%. So this is a 3-turn cooldown, and this buff could be applied for 3 turns. So pretty much if you're using her for campaign, you can have this block buffs the whole duration of your fight, right? So this is cool. But when you look at her A3, this is where it gets kind of unique. So she attacks all enemies, has 80% chance of placing provoke buff for 2 turns, places unkillable buff on the champion for 2 turns. This provoke could be buffed up to 100% also, but there is a huge downside. You will be placing block cooldown skills on yourself for 5 turns, and it cannot be resisted or blocked, right? So here is how I look at this champion. If you're struggling in campaign and you want a strong champion to just take care of all the buffs that your opponents are applying on themselves, then this champion is perfect, right? All you have to do, and I don't think you can do it on auto though, you will definitely have to manual this, but all you have to do is use her A1 and her A2. All right, never use her A3 because this is going to screw you over. If you use her A3, now the only thing you can use is her A1, right? So if you need someone for campaign to deal with opponents buffing their cells and taking you out, then all you have to do is manually use A1 and A2, and she could serve as a person to help you out in dungeon clearing, content like that. Okay, now for end game, I wouldn't recommend that, but from beginner to mid game, sure, something like that would work, right? Now in the arena, this could also be useful for the arena, but I think this skill right here is even better for the arena, right? This is what you want to use in the arena, her A3, because what you're doing is you're attacking all enemies and then you're placing the provoke and unkillable. So now you could provoke someone and get the crap beat out of you, and you won't die because you have unkillable. Obviously, unless if they have removed buffs, then you're screwed. But pretty much, that's how I will use a champion. I will stick to her A1 and her A2 for campaigns if you need something like that. And then if you need someone for arena, then this is where you could use her whole kit, and she is very strong in the arena. So that's how I feel about her kit. Now let's look at her mastery. So for the support side, I think this is a must for this champion. You just want to give her as much accuracy as possible. So you do want to pick this one right here. And also you want to pick lower still because it'll help out your gear set, give her a little bit more boost in her stats. Evil Eye is really good for arena and campaign, honestly, like decreasing, when you first hit an opponent, it'll decrease their turn meter by a little bit. I like Sniper because it gives you a little bit more chance to place those debuffs, and also accuracy plus 50. Wait, because right now in the arena, I feel like a lot of people is putting resist gear on, so more accuracy, the better, right? And the reason why I didn't go with Master Hexer is because this does not help you out in provoke. So I'm using mine for pretty much the arena, so that's the reason why I didn't go with Master Hexer. Now, I could see people debating either to use offensive or defensive, right? So if you're going to choose defensive because maybe you want to use it for a campaign and you want her to survive longer, then, you know, I'll do something like this. Just give her more defensive stats because honestly, her damage is based off of defense. So, you know, the less damage she takes, the more defense stats she has, the better she'll be. Plus, she also has unkillable and she is like meant to take a tank a little bit, so I feel like these masteries right here would be good if you're trying to use it for a campaign because you're struggling in campaign. Now if you're trying to do pure arena, I'll probably go with offensive, and I'll probably do it like this if you're going for pure arena. Okay, so if you're gonna do pure arena, I think this will be a better way to do your masteries for her, giving her a little bit more crit rate, giving her a little bit more crit damage, a little bit more damage throughout the battle, giving her a little bit of lifesteal, things like that. I think this will be better for arena, but honestly it's up to you. But like I said earlier, for the support side, I think this is pretty solid. But when it comes between offense and defense, that's just really going, honestly it depends on your team composition, right? Because if you have someone that does freeze, or where'd it go? Where is it? Was it right here? Yeah, if you have anybody that stuns, sleeps, or freeze, then you know you might want to use this mastery. So that's really up to you. Just throwing out my opinion. And now let's check out her artifacts and why she's geared this way. When it comes to equipping her with artifacts, I think there's really two ways to do it, and that will also depend on if you're going to use it for campaign or arena. If you're going to use it for campaign, then I'll do something like this, right? She pretty much has a little bit of everything. She has speed, she has accuracy, and HP, right? She has everything is pretty fleshed out, a lot of accuracy, which is going to be important for both builds, but you know, pretty much she's kind of fleshed out, she has some decent speed, so she should help you pretty well in campaign. But when it comes to arena, I think you could take a risk and build her a lot differently from how you normally would. And here's why. Because if you use this skill right here, she pretty much has unkillable, right? So the way it looked like to me when I'm using her in the arena, and I'll show you some clips on that, it looked like if you do not finish this fight in 2 rounds before this unkillable is used up, pretty much you have the champion stuck on her A1, right? So she's not going to be any helpful. She doesn't really hit hard with her A1. So now it's pretty much losing a team in your team composition, team member in your team composition. You're down 1 player because she's stuck only using her A1. So with that idea in mind, right, I would say if you're using her for arena only, then I wouldn't worry about her HP, and I honestly wouldn't worry about her attack or defense. I just feel like she doesn't hit that hard, but it could be because maybe I need to get these numbers up a little bit. Just throwing that out there, that's what it felt like for me. But arena, pure arena, I'll just go with speed, resist, and accuracy. I'll just boost those 3 up as much as I can, and I think she'll do really good in arena if you kept it that way. Let her handle provoking the enemies and getting the attention pretty much off the other 3, and let those guys go in and just decimate the opponents, right? So that's how I would do it. It's a little bit weird, but I think it's the way to get the most value out of this champion. I don't know, maybe you guys don't feel that way, maybe you guys think differently, but just throwing out my 2 cents on how I would gear her out. All right, so now that we said that, let's check her out in the arena. There's really nothing to show when it comes to campaign. I mean, she's not like gonna be a game changer in campaign, but she's definitely a possible game changer in the arena. So let's check that out next. Okay, so I picked this clip for the demonstration portion of this video because I really think it showcases one very important aspect about this champion, that she's really built for the arena in a speed meta team composition. And the reason why is because her A3 pretty much has unkill for 2 turns and she provokes for 2 turns, right? So if you don't take down your opponents within those 2 turns, you're pretty much going to be screwed. So if you know, it's kind of unfortunate. Like, I know I really try hard to stay away from the speed meta builds. You know, that's why I did this team composition. We do win, but the problem is that you're getting, it's really close, right? Like, they just, you know, you went through all their provokes and you're about to lose your unkillable. And sometimes if teams are a little bit stronger, you know, that could be the breaking point, because now she can't use that cooldown again. I mean, that A3 for like 5 turns. So she just sitting there and there's nothing that she could do, right? So when it comes to arena, you have to put her in the speed meta, and you have to have a team that's able to knock out the other opponents within 2 turns. So we're gonna leave this fight here, and then I'm gonna bring in a much faster team composition, and you'll see that it's just a lot faster, a lot cleaner, and pretty much it's just where she really fits if you want to use her in the arena. And now some of you guys might say, well, what's the point of having a provoker if you're just gonna nuke them down? That is true, but sometimes some teams, you know, you're fast and they're fast, and they might squeeze in a cooldown or something, right? So having that provoke is just like an extra guarantee for you to, you know, win that round. So hopefully that made a lot of sense. I think that was like the best way to just showcase like the best use case for her in the arena. So yeah. Okay, so that is it for this video. And once again, if you guys have any questions, any thoughts, anything you want to ask me about the champion, then, you know, just do it in the comment section. I always try to get back to you guys. But, you know, my final thoughts about this champion, I think she's a good champion, but I'm not sure if I could say, hey, you know what, she's going to be like an end game, someone you want to use toward end game, someone that you want to keep around to use forever when you're dealing with harder content in the game, right? But also you have to kind of consider that, hey, you know what, if you're beginning to mid game, then absolutely I think she's a good champion to try to get right now while she's available through the fusion event, right? And also, we don't know what kind of content's coming out in the future, so if you're not going to go for the brackets fusion, then I think, you know what, you might as well just get her and keep her, because she does have potential. She's definitely not going to be a game-changing champion, but I kind of feel like, though, you know, like if you have a speed meta kind of a group for the arena, then I think she's a worthy addition. Like, she's gonna be that type of champion that's gonna have a strong provoke and have a higher chance of that happening and letting your other teams knock out your opponents, right? So I feel like she has a place, but it's also going to depend on your team composition and your gear and how you want to use it, right? So this is the best I could do when it comes to explaining her, because I feel like she is a little bit of a tricky champion with so much potential. So you guys tell me how you think and how you feel about this champion. Are you going to fuse brackets or not? Because I'm going to go for it just because, but I'm not recommending you do. It's just me and my thoughts. So with that being said, you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, and catch you on the next one.